Well, it was good to get back out on the grass, go back to work. There was a lot of thinking going on, and a lot of great energy. But at times, I thought we had some lulls in practice. But I think that's a byproduct of our youth and a lot of thinking going on, like I just spoke about. But I thought our older players did a great job of coaching our younger players. But everything is about habits, and we're forming habits. We're forming our identity. We're forming our style of play. So every rep is critical. Now the challenge for this football team comes about in which you've had one practice and you can never simulate being in football condition. You can have the greatest summer that you can possibly have, but it never simulates actually football conditioning. And football rewards those who are in great condition. So now how do we bounce back tomorrow? What type of mindset do we have at 7:30 in the morning walking in for that team meeting? What's our mental approach? And everything that we do. But again, everything is about the habits, and football is a lifestyle, which I spoke about yesterday, and that's where that lifestyle kind of comes into play right now, and working through the aches and the pains and the adversities that football brings about. So it's going to be critical in moving forward. But I thought we did some good things, obviously a lot of things to correct, but also you're still in helmets. And there's only so much you can do, and when the pads go on, we'll know a little bit more, and then we'll see how our players can retain the information and move on to much more install tomorrow as well. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
Obviously, first day, all that stuff, but did you see a faster team defense? Just we got running around, more athletic. Did you just automatically see that out there?
Yeah, I did. I saw a much faster football team in all areas and moving around, but now it's being able to get off blocks and make plays. But just our overall team speed, I could see much improvement.
How was the flow of practice today compared to first practice last year?
Yeah. I thought the flow was better, and it should be. We have a year of experience with the players we do have in our program, but our younger players have done a great job of following the older players. But again, as we continue to grow and develop throughout the course of training camp, our practices need to continue and improve. Championship football teams have championship practices. And so just the overall tempo, the transitions from drill to drill, the familiarities on the practice field, but also we like sudden change. But also I thought Aaron Medley did a great job. We threw in already a last game-winning kick field goal when he didn't have any idea that it was coming, and I thought we executed that well today.
Butch, when you look at so many staff changes in this league from one year to the next, and so many staff changes in UT's program before you got here, how significant is it, do you think, that you bring back the same staff intact?
Significant in all aspects. Everything is about communication and relationships and building that trust. And we have that trust with our players. We have that communication. They know us, we know them. And it's all about consistency and continuity, consistent messaging. The older players are now hearing something for the second time. They've been through it. So the terminology hasn't changed. And in football, terminology is like speaking an entirely different language. But they walked out today, they knew the standard, they knew the expectations. They talked to our younger players about it, and you could see that. I thought, for the most part, just the overall organization was crisp. We need to go back, obviously, and refine some things. We'll watch the film. We'll know a little bit more after we watch the film, but you win with consistency and continuity.
Was the retention rate where you wanted it to be for the most part?
Yeah. We've challenged every player in our program from yesterday to today in our meetings in retention of information, but also retention right away in the meetings and being able to talk back to us the terms, the language, their assignments. So even our meetings have been intense, and that's what it's going to have. We have to get a lot of players ready to play for the first time. We have a lot of questions. We have a lot of untested positions and individuals in our football program. So we have to test them each and every day, both mentally and physically.
What's the condition where you wanted it to be?
Yeah, I thought for the most part, again, it's hard to simulate game speed repetitions, and that's where practice, when I talk about championship teams have championship practices, it's that tempo, and you could see the soreness coming out. Now, again, the growth and maturity of a football team comes in. rest, recovery, nutrition, getting the 8 hours sleep, getting in the cold tubs. That's where that comes into play now.
Well, specifically from a quarterback standpoint, what did you see in terms of retention and just overall in the position?
I saw retention from our quarterbacks, but was not pleased with our accuracy. We count balls on the ground, drop passes anytime the football touches the ground. We click it, we count it, and we had 62 footballs on the ground today and all throughout the course of practice. The great teams I've been around, you have about 18 to 20 on the ground. So we have a lot of improvement to do, but I thought our accuracy needs to improve greatly, our anticipation, but a lot of time that happens with full speed and game speed repetitions, but we need to continue to develop and get better at that position in all positions.
Butch, how do you feel about this new rule where they've created a strike zone for a quarterback? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it protects the quarterback and everything. You know, it's him being in a throwing posture, but it changes how you teach defense. It changes how you teach tackling, and basically you have the strike zone below the shoulders and above the knees or the waist. You know, so we're talking about shoulders to waist area. So you have to rep it, and everything we do, even in individual drills, when the shoulder pads come on, it's going to be that target area, and it's going to be focusing on thud tackling and the fine details of tackling.
What about if a defender is off balance, he's entangled with a blocker, off balance, and then goes into the quarterback low, which easily could happen? Right. Do you think they will call that as a 15-yard penalty?
Well, it's up to the discretion of the referee or the official, but when it's a point of emphasis, you know, they're always going to err on player safety, and I would see that being called. And some of it is a judgment, and we're putting some judgment in there, but I think it's good for the quarterbacks. I think it's good for the overall health of the game, but it's a challenge defensively, and there's going to be some judgment calls along the way.
Coach, so much youth, especially in that front seven, how valuable is a guy like AJ at this, this first week, this time of year, when you got Dylan on one side, Dylan Reeves on the other?
AJ's invaluable, and you can't simulate game speed repetitions and game experience. AJ Johnson's played a lot of football here. We've really challenged him from the communicative aspect, spending time with the younger players, talking football with them. One of the things AJ discussed is overall as a football team improving our football intelligence. And that's something we're spending a lot of time on. But to have his experience, I watch where our players sit, who they kind of gravitate towards, and I'm always looking at Dylan Bates, and it's amazing. He's always finding A.J. Johnson and sitting next to him.
Which was it a big deal to have Kurt Legit out there right from the get-go this time around?
It was great to have Kurt out there. Now he has to continue to take care of his body, but any time that Kurt is on the field, it benefits our football team.
How did Pig Howard look today? It's his first practice really since the end of the season last year. How did he kind of integrate himself back into the practice?
I thought Alton did some good things, but it's consistency and performance. He also had some drops today, which we have to get cleaned up. And again, everything is being a consistent performer, and not just Alton Howard, but our entire football team. I'm very, very excited and interested to see how we approach tomorrow's day. Again, from the team meeting to all the meetings, it's a Saturday, no distractions, it's all football. And so I'm excited to see how they approach the day. That'll tell me a lot about the growth and maturation of this football team.
Which are there many players that you limit a little bit coming off injuries, whether it's through the spring or some of the kids coming in from high school?
We had a few players that were limited, but when it's a non-contact day and your helmets, pretty much everyone's full go. We did have one injury right now, Cody Blank. We'll know a little bit more about him after he sees the doctor and they're able to go in and have an MRI right now, but that's the one individual that was injured today in practice. We don't know. It may be his ankle, it may be Achilles tendon. We're kind of waiting right now.
Coach Marcus talked about how tough it was to have that conversation about redshirting last year. Do you have any conversations with him before this season started just about this being a reward for sitting out last year?
Absolutely. Marcus and I spoke about it, and he paid his dues. He worked exceptionally hard. He redshirted, which when you're a competitor, that's hard to do. But now you work so hard to put yourself in this position. Now go take advantage of it, and we have spoken about that.
Like two more guys. But in terms of Dontavius player, I know that just physically he looks maybe a little better than he did in the spring, and he was able to get to practice maybe better. How much different is he?
He looks much different. Dontavius players work exceptionally hard in the strength and conditioning area. He has a lot more confidence. You can see it in his approach. You can see it in the meetings, and obviously you can see it in the weight room. I thought that translated on the field today as well.
Butch, Jalen Reeves came into campus as a kind of small guy, but now he obviously put on the weight this summer. Just what are your expectations of him this year?
Well, we have a lot of expectations for him, and Jalen gained valuable experience on special teams last year. We moved him to linebacker in the spring. We've challenged him to put the necessary weight on that he needs to be able to have to play linebacker in this league at a very high level. He's been able to do that. He's very instinctive. When we talk about your habits and being able to create those instincts and relying on your training so it becomes instinctual, and he's been able to do that. Now, the next step will be, can he take the added strength, the added size when we put the pads on?
Thanks, guys, very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a good night.
You as well.